Every now and then, a new form of media comes along that really shakes things up. Video may have killed the radio star, but the internet turned the radio star into a full-time live streamer. In my mind, YouTube is unquestionably the platform that defined the desktop computing era. Like every new form of media, it wasn't taken seriously at first, but over the years, it would cement itself alongside respected mediums like television and movies, with some traditional celebrities seemingly switching their main attention to making content for the platform, which is something that would seem unthinkable just a decade ago. While YouTube was being slowly absorbed into the cultural zeitgeist, a different revolution was happening right under its nose. The rise of a different form of computing with a completely different set of principles. Smartphones. Yeah, people have used smartphones to make content for YouTube as long as they've been around, but I'm talking about something a little different than just the hardware. Over the 2010s, a different attitude in personal computing would begin to arise. Programs were swapped for apps, the desktop was swapped for a home screen, folders and files were completely forgotten. All of the less approachable and more technical aspects of computers were abstracted away from the end user in favor of more human concepts. You don't need to upload a file from a folder, you need to choose a photo from your library. You don't need to carry around a USB stick with Word files, your documents are saved in the cloud and just need to be selected from a menu. It just works may have been Apple's slogan, but it also became the general mission statement of all personal computing in the modern era. In many ways, it makes sense. Make things easier and less technical, and more people are going to buy your phone or your app or your subscription model nightmare. Grandparents using social media may have been an unusual thing a few years ago, but nowadays, most old people I see are just as glued to their phones as young people are. It may have come about over a number of years, but there's now a current generational divide in tech. And I think nothing says that more than articles that talk about new computer science students not even understanding how files and directories work on a conventional computer. If YouTube defined the previous generation of personal computing, then TikTok is a platform that defined this modern era. The app has a very powerful built-in video editor, which is built around filming videos with your phone's camera, also inside the app, so you don't need any external tooling at all to make TikTok videos with slick edits. The built-in editor is also very intuitive and easy to use, and gives you access to a huge library of sound assets and pre-made filters and effects. It basically takes away all the complexities of conventional video editing and makes it approachable to anyone, which is very in line with this new generation of personal computing. TikTok didn't just make it easy to make videos though, they made it easier to find them too. You might wonder how one can make something like the YouTube algorithm more convenient, and TikTok's answer to that was to just straight up remove all choice from the end user. You don't need to select a video anymore. When you open the app, it chooses a video for you, and you either watch it or move on to the next video it chooses. It's like an ultra-modern form of channel surfing. Not having the ability to select videos being the core experience of TikTok is what drives all content on the platform. It's why you see accounts that just make the exact same video over and over again. That's just the sort of behavior the platform rewards. I've never been a big fan of short-form content. Personally, I like being able to select from a list of videos, so the formats just never appealed to me that much. And researching this video was kind of like my first major foray into any of these platforms. And I'm genuinely surprised at the sheer amount of shocking stuff I found on TikTok. I'm talking copious amounts of gore, fields and fields of straight up corn, and other bizarre and shocking things that would be very hard to find on YouTube, but on TikTok it's all right out in the open. The main reason behind this stuff is due to the way the TikTok algorithm works, but we'll talk more about that later in the video. For now, let me walk you through our first algorithm anomaly. Like I said before, the way TikTok operates seems to incentivize creators to just do the exact same thing over and over again. On a platform like YouTube, you need to strike a delicate balance between being novel and staying within your niche. But on TikTok, the idea of a video isn't nearly as important because it's just kind of put in front of you whether you choose to watch it or not. For some creators, having videos repeat themselves can be a pretty advantageous thing, as recognizability can be the deciding factor for a user not to swipe away immediately. This can lead to some strange accounts and niches, like for example, the LEGO Star Wars plug walk niche. There are many accounts out there whose sole purpose it is to post videos of characters in LEGO Star Wars games doing a plug walk. All these videos are basically exactly the same, and the most popular account I found making them has 200,000 followers. LEGO Star Wars plug walks are obviously not the anomaly I want to focus on here, but oddly enough, the video we're about to discuss is LEGO related. first glance, this clip appears to show us some bizarre AI-generated LEGO first-person shooter game. But if you look a little closer, and more importantly, listen to the audio, you'll realize that nothing here was taken from a video game. The reality is a lot darker. On March 15th, 2019, a man named Brenton Tarrant would enter the Al-Noor Mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand with an assault rifle and begin firing. Only 6 minutes later, he would leave and drive to the nearby Linwood Islamic Center, where again, he would begin shooting. Tarrant would soon be arrested by police, but only after he had killed 51 people, making it the deadliest mass shooting in New Zealand history. Sensational mass killings like this are unfortunately not terribly uncommon, but there is one aspect of the Christchurch mosque shooting in particular that sets it apart from basically every other event like it. While Tarrant was committing his heinous act, he was wearing a body cam and live streaming everything to Facebook. Everything had been recorded and uploaded to the internet from his first-person perspective, and the footage would go down in history as one of the internet's most infamous shock videos. This TikTok video is the Christchurch livestream recording put through an AI video generator to make everything look like Lego. Specifically, it uses Runway's Gen 3 video-to-video AI. You feed it an existing video and it will transform it based on the prompt you write. This can sometimes lead to some pretty interesting results, especially when they feed a video game footage. Like this video GTA 4 transformed to be ultra realistic. It reminds me of those ENB mod videos from back in the day, which always promised ultra realistic graphics that never really quite lived up to the hype in reality. The video on TikTok is a much more nefarious use of this technology. Every frame of the Christchurch video has been completely replaced, but the underlying footage still remains more or less the same. It's just been covered up with a coat of soupy AI paint. Maybe you can't see any blood, but you can hear the audio, which remains untouched from the original shock video. The user that put up this clip has 4 other videos, which are all shock videos with real deaths that have been transformed with AI. The description for almost all of these clips simply reads, Minions AI, which might seem strange, but that is in fact the algorithm anomaly here. You see, a community is developed on TikTok revolving around people posting gore videos that have been transformed enough with AI that they avoid the automatic moderation system. While the one we initially looked at was made to look like Lego, most of the other videos in this niche have been transformed to look like Minions. As disturbing as these videos are themselves, it becomes a whole lot more disturbing when you consider the intentions behind their creators. Why choose to specifically transform these shock videos into such child-friendly forms like Lego and Minions on a platform like TikTok? Is it possible these creators are counting on children not swiping away when they see something they assume is made for them? When you look at the comment sections in these videos, you can often see links posted by commenters to the original unmodified gore videos. One way to interpret this situation is that there's a community of TikTokers who are purposely trying to expose children to gore by masking it with safe and familiar visuals. Another way to interpret this is that these videos are actually made by children themselves. When you start to investigate the accounts posting these Minion AI videos more closely, they often do seem to be children. Like this account, who posted one of the more popular Minion AI clips. His only 2 other videos are very obviously him and his friends messing around at school. The unfortunate reality is that children are often exposed to horrible things on the internet from a young age, and it's not too far-fetched to think that they themselves would be the ones posting edgy content online. Another explanation could simply be that someone initially had the idea to make a Minion AI shock video, it became famous, and other people wanted to cash in on the trend by making copycat videos. While it can be easy to slip into a habit of thinking that there's some coordinated evil group of people working together to harm others like villains from a Hollywood movie, it's also important to remember that the internet is a chaotic network of mostly disconnected people reacting to whatever's going on around them. For many people, just getting a lot of attention is enough motivation to put a gore video through Runway AI and then upload the end result to TikTok. Let's go back to that first Lego video for a second. This clip is actually a continuation of a long-running trend with this particular shock video. When the Christchurch shooting originally happened back in 2019, it topped worldwide headlines for weeks. It was huge news. Pair this with the fact that there was readily available footage of the entire massacre in clear quality from the viewpoint of the assailant, and social media platforms suddenly had an immediate problem trying to keep the footage off of their platforms. According to this article from the Washington Post, YouTube in particular had huge issues trying to keep the Christchurch video off of their site. No amount of automatic moderation could keep up with the sheer volume of re-uploads, which at one point even reached an insane rate of one new upload every second. YouTube could implement whatever expensive automatic moderation tools they had, but people would find ways around them. Whether it was by adding watermarks, overlays, putting the footage inside of Minecraft gameplay, as soon as YouTube developed a new way to detect this particular video, uploaders had come up with 10 new ways to circumvent the system. This video on TikTok is just the latest permutation of the Christchurch footage clawing its way back onto social media by altering itself in some manner, this time in a way that wasn't technologically possible 6 years ago. It does raise a question. Is it even necessary to censor something this much to Trojan horse inappropriate content on TikTok? Honestly, I don't think you need to put in that amount of effort. There are far easier ways to upload shock videos to this particular platform. Back in 2021, a new trend would begin sweeping TikTok. Creators will post videos with the text, "Don't search this up." They hang on that one line for a few seconds, likely to increase view duration, and then reveal a username. Looking at these users nowadays doesn't really result in anything interesting. They're often either completely blank or deleted accounts. But back in 2021, that wasn't the case. You see, TikTok had a vulnerability in their automatic moderation system. While uploading shock videos to the platform was against their terms of service and would get your account banned, there was a place on TikTok where you could upload a video that wouldn't be touched by any sort of algorithm or automated system. Your profile picture, or a profile video, which is a thing you can do on TikTok. Once users caught on to the fact that you could basically set your profile picture/video to basically anything without any consequences, people began making burner accounts solely to share shocking content on the platform. According to this article from the BBC, searching the accounts mentioned in these "Don't Search This Up" videos would show you full-on corn, ISIS videos, and other such shocking things, all in the form of profile picture videos. In just a few months, these videos had racked up an accumulated 50 million views. Now TikTok would eventually fix the bug that had allowed shock videos into people's profile pictures, but that was just addressing a small part of a much larger problem. Like I alluded to at the beginning of this video, there's a surprisingly large amount of shock content on TikTok in general. It's not even hard to find. You can just straight up search gore and you will be shown gore. Now most of these videos don't actually show the gory parts of these clips. This account, for example, Altuna's XD7, posts famous shock videos that cut away to an uncanny troll face before the bad parts happen. These uploads all have millions of views, and at least a few commenters will provide an easy way to see the full video. As weird as it is, there seems to be an entire community on TikTok devoted to making edits of shock videos, in the same way people make edits of anime or Sigma compilations. For whatever reason, many of these edits seem to be centered around Ronnie McNutt, who is an American man that ended their life while live streaming. This is definitely one of the weirder communities I've come across on the internet, if you can even call it one. It's not just gore either. It's also very easy to find actual corn on TikTok. Remember those "Don't Search This Up" videos? Well, they're still being made to some degree. But instead of shock videos and profile pictures, what these accounts have instead are these weird censored corn videos. The idea here is that if you speed up the video by 2 times, an overlay on the right side of the video disappears a little bit and you're able to see what's going on behind it, which I will leave to your imagination. You might think that uncovering this stuff took a lot of time and research, but that's not the case here. I was able to find my way to the dark corners of this app within minutes of signing up. All it took was a few simple searches and TikTok showed me exactly what I was looking for. It makes you wonder, why is this platform in particular so rife with content that clearly breaks its terms of service? I'm not the only person to have noticed this. There are countless articles and testimonials online written by people who are pondering the same question. What's with all the shocking content on TikTok? This sort of thing is difficult to find on YouTube. You can't just search gore and then get infamous gore videos. What is it about TikTok in particular that encourages and allows shock videos? Personally, I think the explanation is quite simple. It all comes down to how TikTok's algorithm works. On a long-form content platform like YouTube, you're presented with a list of videos to choose from. Your decision to click on a video is driven by the way the thumbnail catches your attention and how interesting the idea behind the video seems based on its title. When you choose a video, that's a conscious choice. Maybe you don't always give it a ton of thought, but you're giving it some thought. You're engaging some executive function in your brain when you choose a video on YouTube. On TikTok though, there is no decision making. You open the app, and a video is immediately put in front of you. You can choose to swipe away if you wish, but the app is just going to put another video in front of you. When you choose a video on YouTube, you're selecting it based on how interesting you find the concept. But on TikTok, your decision to not swipe away can be driven by many different factors. Some creators that are making legitimate content will do a few second long elevator pitch at the start of their video to grab people's attention. But another great way to keep people from swiping is by showing them something shocking. You may not choose to watch a gore video, but just like staring at a car crash, you might watch a few seconds of it before moving on, which might just be enough to boost its presence on a platform like TikTok. Obviously, this principle doesn't exclusively apply to shock videos, just anything that looks unusual or strange enough to appeal to your lizard brain may be enough to keep you watching a video you wouldn't consciously choose to watch if you were the one making the decision and not the algorithm. Pardon the interruption, guys. I just want to go on a brief little tangent here. So, in this section, I wanted to capture like a certain niche or genre that I've noticed on short form content platforms. And it's like these scary videos that are like creepy. They're not necessarily like gore or internet horror or anything, but just like something that just looks weird or strange and it, you know, triggers that novel dopamine in your brain. I guess like the best way you can describe it is like a digital version of like a Victorian sideshow, you know, like oddities, curiosities. When I last tried to use TikTok a couple of years ago, I noticed that there was a lot of these kinds of videos and I wanted to try to find them and include them in my video. But when I went to go look for these videos, I noticed that now they're all just generated with AI. It's super weird. So like this video, for example, you know, that's like a great visual. That's a great thumbnail. I'm gonna click on that. And you click on it, and it's just AI slop. Like the face clips through the door. It doesn't make any sense. It is creepy, don't get me wrong, but it's like creepy in the same way all AI videos are. I made an entire video about that. Go watch that. AI videos are just uncanny, right? Like they're all uncanny and creepy in the exact same way. And all of these videos are like this. Like this one, for example, right? Like this thumbnail, you see like this botchling kind of creature out in the night. You click on it and it's just like the exact same AI slop. I don't know. I'm not saying that like this Victorian sideshow side of TikTok or Instagram Reels provided much value to the overall internet. It's just depressing whenever any niche or genre gets taken over by AI and we just lose that extra little bit of humanity on the internet. I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say. Let's end the video. I think this simple difference in how TikTok works makes this algorithm cater to a much more primitive side of you. And in some ways, it's like it bypasses your normal sense of morality. I don't like watching gore videos and I'm never gonna choose to watch one, but like every human, I also have a sense of morbid curiosity. So shock videos appeal to my subconscious in a way that's not really gonna be drawn out of me unless I'm just mindlessly watching and allowing a platform to choose videos for me. If the algorithm promotes shocking content, then people are gonna be incentivized to upload it. And that's really all the explanation you need as for why this sort of thing is so rampant on TikTok in particular. I wish I could have made this video longer. TikTok and its algorithm is such a huge topic and there's a lot of stuff we haven't discussed. Like TikTok live streams and all the interesting horror niches that have been developed over the years on the platform. Unfortunately, I was a little pressed for time in this one because of a trip I've got coming up soon, so I think this topic definitely deserves a part 2. If you have any suggestions of TikTok related stuff I should cover for the second volume, please let me know in the comments. I promise I'll read everyone. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.